Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna show you how I do a basic eye look with a little pop of color. I love to use color in my makeup, so that's why I'm gonna do it. And I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please give it a big thumbs up. That would make me really happy. And if you like it, you can give a reaction about what you think and what you think I should do next. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you, and now let's jump into the video. Okay, so I did put you in a little closer so you can take a better look of what I'm doing. At first I always start with washing my hands or put a little sanitizer on it so my hands are clean and the bacteria are not gonna go on my face. When I start to do my eye makeup, I always start with rubbing up the little oil that I have on my eyes. I have very oily eyelids, so if I don't do that, makeup is not gonna stay for that long time. I do use eyeshadow base, the Too Faced one. And I'm just blending it in on both eyes. I'm using a flat brush, like this, to put on the eyeshadow base, because I think that helps a lot. Well, not the primer, but the base color. I'm using an eyeshadow palette of Morphe x Manny MUA, which is called the GLAM palette, and I'm using the color Dust Cloud and putting that all over my eyes. I'm starting at the inner corner because that is the part where I crease the most. So I want that part to be the first part that has eyeshadow on it so it does not crease. And that's how we want it. This palette does have a little fallout, but I'm okay with that. As long as the shadows are doing what they're supposed to do. So now we have our base done. We can start with a color for all around the eye. To do this, I'm gonna use my favorite blending brush. It's a very fluffy one. And I'm still gonna use the same palette. Just the color underneath it, it's called Sofa. And starting from the outer corner, so it has the most color at that point, and blending it upwards. And what's left on the product, I put more in the inner side of my eye. So that has a little bit color and a little bit depth too. And you can already see like a really big difference. And you can build it up as how dark you want it to be. I just think this is such an easy color to use because you can use it with every kind of color. And then you just blend it till you think it's looking perfect. What I always do to make sure it looks really good is to look at it from different angles. So I have my mirror right here, so that's why I'm looking down the whole time. And I do have the mirror from the palette, so I'm looking from this palette. And I'm looking at that right now to see if it looks like similar on both sides. With the same brush, I'm gonna dip into a little darker color to make it look a little more like a darker color. So I'm gonna use the same palette and I'm using Zaya. Tapping up the excess. And starting at the outer corner again. To give it a little more color and a little more dimension. And you do want it to be blending softly and not like rubbing your skin. What I'm then gonna do is getting a little smaller blending brush like this one, and I'm using that one to blend underneath my eye with the same dark color. Most of the time when I'm doing this, I'm blending it until almost the middle of my eye and sometimes a little further to make the eye look like a complete eye and not just only the top part of the eye. And you blend that till you think it looks perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is put glitter on my eye. I love to use glitter with every eye look. I like barely do makeup without any glitter, so yeah. I'm using the same palette and I'm just using my hands for this. And I'm using the color Leo to put it on the outer of my eyelids. And when I have the color like at the places I want it to be, I'm gonna use a flat brush, give it a little bit of spray with a setting spray or a fixing spray, doesn't matter. So it's gonna be a little more shiny because I just told you I love shiny and glittery eyeshadows. Sometimes when I think it's not gonna be shiny enough, I spritz it before I put the eyeshadow on the brush, and after the eyeshadow is already on the brush. I love to go a little above my crease with the eyeshadow that I'm putting on my lid, so when I look forward you can see a lot of the color. So the color is not only on this part but above it, so it makes your eyes look bigger. Just a quick reminder, I'm a perfectionist myself. If the eyeshadow is not totally looking the same at both sides, it doesn't matter because you can't always make it perfectly. It's supposed to look good, so everyone has two different eyes. One is bigger or one is more wide than the other one. So you have to just do what fits your eye shape. And I found out that this works for my eye shape. So what I'm doing now is using the big blending brush again and blending the edges so it doesn't look so harsh. I'm doing that really softly because I don't want the color to totally fade. The thing is, with a beautiful eyeshadow look, the blending is really important. Now I'm gonna use a clean finger and using the shade Scorpio from the same palette and putting that on the inner side of my eye. I mean eyelid, not my eye of course. I'm gonna put that a little bit over the darker color, so it gives this illusion that is going from lighter to dark. I think that looks really pretty when you do that. So I'm gonna use a clean brush again and gonna do the same that I did with the darker color. Always blending the edges, so I'm gonna put a little bit of the dark color on the middle so you can't see the harsh lines anymore. I love to use this technique. I think it makes my eyes look more open and wide, so it makes my eyes look more awake. What I am gonna do now is getting another blending brush and blending the edges of the eyeshadow from around the eye and on the eyelids, so it makes a whole picture. I'm doing this without any product on it, so it just blends it, and when I think I've done that enough, I'm putting a little bit of the darker color and the lighter color mixed that I used around the eye, so the color does not fade. So what I am gonna do now to give the eye shape a little more depth is to use a little more darker color and use that on the outer edge of my eye to give it a little more depth. like just like I just said. I am gonna use a tinier blending brush for this because it's a little more precisely work. And I'm gonna use the same palette, and I'm using the shade Howl. Or Owl. Just making sure you don't put too much product all at once, because like you can see, you already can see the difference, and I used just a tiny bit. If you do too much all at once, it's harder to blend. It's probably taking way much more time than you want it to be. And I'm keeping this on the outer corner and blending it a little bit down to the lower lash line. It's very important that you don't push the brush like too hard on your eye, because if you do that, the product is like gonna go really weird, because you want it to like stay on that part, like where you put it. I am now using the same big blending brush I used in the start to make it look less harsh. And to make it look, so I just make it look softer, because I just really love a soft blended look. Some people don't, some people like the harshness, but I like it to be just like a whole pretty look with soft lines. I'm now having a precisely brush like this. This brush is very handy to use at the inner corner of the eye. I'm not using a color of this palette because they're not light enough for my wishing. The favorite palette for me for using a color at the inner corner when I'm making a brown look like this is from the Cremated palette from Jeffree. And I love to use the pinkish color, which is called Afterlife. And this brush is so tiny, so it fits exactly at the places where I want it to fit. And what you can see now is that the brightness on the inner side of my eye makes this eye look more open and awake than this eye. Some people don't like this effect. I love this effect. And what you can do is, when you think you put it way too much, like up here or up there, you can always go in with the shadow that you used on the inner part of the eyeshadow, of the eyelid I mean, and putting it a little bit over the color so it's not that bright anymore, and it doesn't ruin the look you wanted to go for. So I am doing that because I think I brought it a little bit too much, like I brought it a little bit too high, and that's not the look I wanted to go for. Sometimes you do, today I just don't. What I then like to do is to use a rectangular brush like this, a tiny precisely brush, and I'm using a pop of color to put that underneath my eye, like right there. I'm using the same Morphe palette from Manny MUA and using the color Fire Witch, which is a very soft pinkish color. To give this look a pop of color. And like you see, this made the eye like a lot warmer, and I just love a warm eye look. And what I am gonna do now, because it's like such a harsh line, is I'm gonna use an eyeshadow brush with a blending brush with no product on it, and I'm just gonna blend it. So it looks a little more blended and it doesn't look like right in your face harsh lines. If the pigment, like you want it to be there, goes away, you can always use a little bit more, blend a little bit more, use a little bit more. Like you can always build it up like how you want it to be. So that's all I'm gonna use for eyeshadow, and now I'm gonna go to my eyeliner. And now I'm gonna start with my wing. I start from the under part of my eye and try to make a line that goes a little bit to my brow. And then I'm connecting them. And you can make this part as big as you want to. I just like, normally I like to make it this big. Sometimes I make it a little bit bigger, or I put it a little bit higher, or I'll make it just a little bit tinier. It just depends on how easy it goes and what I'm in the mood for. Just remember, when you're doing eyeliner on the second eye, they don't have to be twins, they just have to be siblings. And I love to use my Kat Von D eyeliner in the shade Stormtrooper for the more precisely points. And like you can see, my eyeliner is like not the same, but they look kind of similar, and that's what we're going for. I mean, that's what we're going for. I'm gonna start with the bottom lashes first. I am gonna do this because the liner has to dry, because my top lashes, I mean, are very annoying. They're like, when I close my eyes you can see them, they're like standing straight down. And I have to use my curler and my hair dryer to make them stand up. So what I'm gonna do is, I am heating up my curler, like curling my lashes. Then I'm doing the first coat of my mascara, and I'm letting that dry. I'm doing it again, like making my curler warm, curling my eye, not my eye, my lashes, and then putting mascara on again, so it has a little bit more volume. And that is most of the time like keeping my lashes up all day. It's not a guarantee. They're like so annoying, sometimes they're just gonna go down like what they want to do. So that's why I'm starting like with the bottom lashes. I'm using my Benefit BADgal Bang mascara in the mini version. And I'm doing this very precisely because I don't want it to touch the shadow that we have underneath the eye. So this is the eye look complete with the mascara. It makes such a big difference. And I'm really happy that my lashes are like kind of long. I am still gonna do another step to make the eye look complete, because I do this normally all the time. Some people like it, some people don't. It's about putting a liner, how do you call this? In your waterline, but then the one above. So I'm using this black liner from Yves Rocher. It's a waterproof liner, so it stays in there like really good. It just looks really weird when you put it in there, and that's why some people don't like it. They don't like the feel of it. To be honest, it doesn't really bother me, and I like the look of it, so that's why I'm gonna do it. It can give you a little bit of a watery eye. That's okay, then you just have to let it be and just stop for a second, and then you can keep going once there's no watery eye anymore. And then this is the final eye look. I am quickly gonna put on a highlighter and a lipstick, and I'll be right back. So this is the final look. I hope you like it. I hope you think it looks pretty, and if you do, give a comment down below. I love to hear from you. I love to chat with you. I will like give you a heart or give you a reaction, and I just hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, if you like my videos, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!